All right. Welcome to the Hard Lessons podcast. We have quite an impressive guest here, young entrepreneur Seaf, who's joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Charlie.
You know, your journey, you've done so much from an entrepreneurial perspective from such a young age, and I can't wait to jump into that a little bit more. Quite a unique story, hustler's mentality. You're running many different, got lots going on. A student, multiple businesses here. You really do have your stuff figured out, and I'd love to dive deep here into exploring your struggles, some hard lessons you learned, some secrets to your successful operations. So while we learn from your wisdom, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Charlie. And I'm here to take some notes from you as well, man. Don't get it wrong. Charlie is the guy, my friend. I promise you.
Listen, you guys seem to have it figured out pretty well. So for the audience here, paint the picture for them. Where'd you start? What are you doing now?
So just to go back, I come from Jordan. That's my home country. So coming to Canada, I came around grade 8, grade 9. So the transition was hard. You know, you don't really know much English. All your friends that you have are back home. So in the summer, I got to work in a little landscaping with my uncle. And at the time, we were just lawn mowing, doing a little bit of like flower planting, flower bed or whatever. And I have to be thankful to him because we had an argument one day. And I'm like, I could probably like cut a couple of houses and do this on my own. So at the time, I didn't have a car at the time. So I was 17, 18. And my dad had a Mazda CX-9. And it's like those SUVs with the 6-seaters. So what I'll do is I'll put the seats down, you put the blanket, you roll it, I roll down the mower, and then it's just cold calling. So started doing lawn mowing for the first year, and that was basically all on my own. There was nobody. Tried to schedule 5 houses, 6 houses a day. That's basically what I did for that entire summer when I was off high school, transitioning to my first year of university. And that led to I like this business. I like landscaping in general, and I think I can take this someplace. So next year after that, I bought a 2007 Ford F-150. And I promise you, when I say I came home with that truck with $7,000. That's all I had saved up from the past summer. All the hard work I've done, it was $7,000. I go, I give it to my dad. I'm like, here you go, cash it out. At the time, I can't even put it in my name, right? So he goes, we buy the truck. I take the truck back home. And the Ford issues with the engine rattling and whatever. So I come home and I turn it on, about to go to work, and all you hear is toof, 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 toof. The truck sounds like it's about to explode. So we tried to fix it many times, send it back to the dealership we got it from, and I kept having the same issue. So at that point, I had a decision to make because I was going to buy a newer truck that's able to last a little bit longer, but I'm going to take on debt of basically having to pay that truck back. So I bought a 2016 Ford F-150. That's the one you see me pulling in this morning. And from there, we started doing different type of landscaping, ended up hiring my first worker, and now we're here now.
I love it. Awesome. And not only landscaping, you guys have quite an impressive team doing the landscaping, sod, this and that. You're also in school and the countertops as well, right? A countertop business.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Countertop is... So what I envision for our company, Eternal Green Landscaping, is I want to be able to branch it off to different type of entities, whether we do roofing, indoor renovation, flooring. Right now, I want to be able to focus on building the team for the landscaping company, and to ensure that's a sustainable environment and it can operate without me being in the business from day to day. The fishing test is what you want to call it. You can go on a week trip and the business still operates. So once we get that figured out, I've dipped my toes into the countertop a little bit, definitely last summer. It's not as easy as you think it is because our jobs require a lot of capital. It's not like you can run an agency and all you need is a camera and you can run ads and you kind of just know the technology. Every time you upgrade and you have a new crew, you're looking at $100,000. You need a truck, trailer, plow, salter, right? So every time you upgrade, you need $120,000. So it has to be an exponential growth. It has to start slow, and it keeps going on a rise. So, and as a student, it's definitely been tough balancing everything together. But, we pull it together. Middle Eastern, we got to get the engineering degree. You know how it is.
I love it. And so your why, from the start, you're just a kid. It's hard work. Why? You're 17, 18 years old, knocking on doors, hustling. You're in school as well, eventually university. Why working outside? Why not do something easy in your computer, the AC?
I feel like I was kind of, when you work your first job and you've kind of understand the environment, how everything work, and also just the business aspect of landscaping, of building a crew and being able to have a sustainable business that runs. You're able to, have employees under you. You're taking care of them. You're taking care of their family. So that whole idea intrigues me, is building a sustainable system and having a company that serves different, like let's say different reasons. You're helping with the grass, sodding, that's the environment, and you're able, of course, to bring people in and help them and include them in the family itself, right? So
That's awesome. So starting off, what are a few, I guess, hard knocks or things that you'd attribute your success to, things that you did right, things you wish you did a little bit differently?
So honestly, what I would say is purchasing my first truck, I would have liked to get an F-250 straight off the bat, because you're pulling trailers all day and you're plowing snow, and that truck is maybe good for lawn mowing. Because at the idea, like when I bought it, my idea was like, okay, we're just gonna cut grass. I still haven't had that open minded to, okay, there's multiple different type of construction you can do, hardscaping, you can do concrete and all these things. So when we started doing grass, interlock, and these type of things, you realize really that truck can't really tow anything, right? And the more that you put heavy loads on it, the more that's going to keep breaking down, and you're kind of just spending money to fix it up. So that's definitely one mistake. I'll definitely would have went with a bigger truck straight off the bat. Maybe it's a little bit more money, you squeeze it in at the front, but I'll definitely help you out in the future. And also just finding a mentor. You need somebody that's been through the path that you've been through before. And luckily I had my uncles that I could look up to and seen like the issues and the mistakes that they have, and bringing people in and putting a system in place, having people in uniform, make it like a family environment, less than, oh, these are my workers, do this for me, do this for me. Like these people, like some people view, okay, you're paying the guy money, I understand, but he's not your slave or anything. Like you gotta put the right environment for your workers to succeed. And I feel like that's really important when you're first starting, because if you build that culture from the beginning, you're gonna have an easier time going forward.
Interesting. So you mentioned a mentorship was super important to you, and that was your uncle for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
So yeah, my uncle, he's in London. His company is called Wild Roses Landscaping. So any questions that I ever have, I can give him a call, see what he can do. He gives me an advice here and there. Sometimes it gets harder to do quotations on something that you haven't done before, or like, when you get into a different aspect of landscaping, you've done something you've never done. It's kind of a little bit nerve-wracking. You don't want to get anything wrong. So it's definitely good to have somebody out there. You can ask questions, you can get advice, even see what they've done wrong before, and you can take that tips from them as well.
And so you mentioned a thing you wish you did better was the equipment and doing your proper research, and whether it's landscaping or any other trade or not in the trade, doing your research for the proper equipment, I feel is super important. What were a few things that you did really, really well? Like you've got your mentor. What else for those guys just starting out, and also the marketing? Like you guys, you have that very dialed in.
So that's honestly so in construction, you're looking the average age of 35 to 40. These are the people that own construction companies. And they are kind of, again, outdated because technology is coming in, and there's definitely easier ways to find leads than knocking doors. I'll tell you that much. So being able to take advantage of the technology that's coming up, whether that's Facebook ads, Google ads, being able to do SEO on pages, like it's very important to have like just as simple as like doing a specific page for every different city. So people look up like sodding Brampton or sodding Mississauga, and your page can pop up first instead of just have like one general page. So you can get a lot of heads up on those. Like the old guys know how to make connections. I don't want to call them the old guys. I don't want to offend anybody. No, but definitely they do a lot of things well. It's just we definitely take advantage of social media, right? And if any business that's out there, social media is a huge part of everything. Like my father tried to start a painting company, and the first thing he did is just print out business cards and start handing them out. I'm like, Dad, like this is not how you're supposed to do it, right? So definitely, I feel like technology and taking advantage of social media and being able to learn of retargeting audiences, doing ads, how much is it costing you per lead, and working off those numbers is definitely going to help any company that's growing up, because you can reach a wider audience in such a smaller amount of time, right? And then you can expand a lot quicker than like knocking doors and cold calling. We still do that. Like we send emails. We have an AI that does that for commercial properties to try and assign them for lawn care or snow removal.
Yeah.
That works, but to reach a bigger audience and be able to expand the same what you want to do in 10 years, be able to do it in 5, you definitely have to take advantage of social media.
So I'm curious your thought process, and we mentioned mentors. I've always been taught figure your one thing out and get really, really good at it.
Yeah.
You mentioned doing many different things. What are you going to use from the knowledge now to make you successful in those many different things? And like, I'm just curious more your thought process behind, doing all these things.
I feel like if you do one thing well, like the things that translate the most is discipline and hard work. Like no matter what business you start, if you're really not putting in the time, you're not gonna get the results back. Especially at the beginning of the business, we were just talking about it. It's never gonna be easy. You know, there are some jobs you probably know that you can take a job, and sometimes you'll go out with a loss, but there's a lesson to be learned from it. Like some weeks, okay, at the beginning when it first started, like some weeks the guy would get paid more than I did, and I'm doing all the estimates, I'm sending all the invoice. Then I can't just go home and be sad and complain about it. It's just like, this is the type of work we signed up for, you know what I mean? And this is what it requires. So if you just take the discipline and hard work and apply it to any field that you have, and of course research, because you want to work smarter and not harder all the times, if you can combine all those together, whatever field that you go into, I believe that you'll succeed. Because, hard work always pays off.
And that's an interesting point. And like going into those different fields, what I've seen you like doing just from an outsider view, I guess, right now is you're so good at delegating. If you mind touching on that and like the importance of that delegating and what you've done, finding the very best people to run these operations. Well, you just support them.
Yeah, 100%. The vision of the company is to have 1,000 employees, right? And if you have 1,000 employees, you cannot manage. Honestly, after it gets to 5 or 6, it's hard for even one person to manage. So you have to delegate. If somebody can do the task, let's say 30% below what you would be able to do in it, that's still good enough, right? Because you're freeing up time for you to open different opportunities. I remember during the winter time, because we hired workers to basically take care of it, and I basically was free the whole time, and that's where the countertop came into place. So I was like, let me learn something that we don't have to be outside all the time. It's a warmer weather.
So one of your guys was familiar with it?
No, it wasn't I delegated the snow plowing to them, and that freed my time to go and explore other venues, right? And that's when I came to the countertop, met some new people, and kind of was able to do a little bit of work over there. But I definitely wouldn't recommend mixing 2 or 3 businesses together until you have the first one established. Because I've run into the issues running countertop, and right now it's on pause because I want to keep that landscape in operation. Once that's fully stable, then we're able to go to the next chapter.
So you feel moving a bit too quick can be
can be very dangerous. Yeah, because you'll be all over the place, right? And you're doing this, and then sometimes you forget that you have to do something for landscape, and then you're over here busy with something else. So it's making sure that you have one thing sustainable, right, and that's running on its own and it's working before you even get to that next chapter, which is whatever you want to do, a different business, a different countertop, whatever it is. I definitely focus on getting what you're doing right now solid and functioning on its own, and then you can move on to the other avenue.
So how do you feel it's been, and like what have you learned from being spread? I'm sure it feels like you've been spread quite thin, doing all these things. Like what have you learned from that?
So what I learned is like you think that you're doing a lot, right? And when you basically take a step and look back at it, you realize you're not doing nothing. Like, yes, you're all over the place, you're doing this and this, but you look at the bigger picture, you've kind of messing everything up together, right? You're not giving the time this is supposed to need, and you're not giving the other thing the time it's supposed to need. And that's, at some point, I had just school, countertop, and landscaping, and I was all over the place. It was like 13-hour days, 14-hour days every day, right? You can't handle all the estimates, you can't handle all the invoices, you're going into a new different business, you need to do different connections with suppliers and everything, and then you look back and like, oh, I forgot to do the other thing over here, right? So it's definitely have taught me that faster is not always better, right? Sometimes taking a step at a time, making sure it's all about the foundation. If you have the foundation right, the wider you build the foundation, like Alex Hormozi said, the wider that you build the foundation, the wider that your pyramid can be high up. So it's definitely focused on building that foundation blocks up. So when you decide to go up high, everything else stays in place. Because if the foundation is lacking, everything's going to fall apart.
And the foundation, like tap into that a little bit more. The right people, the right systems.
Definitely the right people, the right systems. Being able to, let's say, just walk it from a phone call. A client can call. Somebody's answering the call. He's already knows what, like, let's say genre that they're going to, whether landscaping, hardscaping. They can talk to the right crew, being able to set up the appointment, make sure the guys are able to go on time. It's easier for them. It manages, like, it fits within their time schedule and does not affect if they're supervising, let's say, another job, and they're not just, let's say, they're supervising and doing estimates. It doesn't collide with the timelines. So it's just like basically back end work, right? Being able to do cold outreach, being able to take care of the customers that you currently have, and satisfy them to a level where you have the relationship with them for 10 years. You're not half doing the job, right? So just things like that.
And processes of like in terms of documenting things, because you're not going to be doing, what you're doing here in a year and 2 years. How are you going about? Because I've made this mistake too many times of just doing it. It's all in my head. I know it. I'm good at it. Like go. And then it's time to hire someone. You're like, shit, like I got to teach them, but there's no process documented. And you're trying to think back and oh shit, how do I do this or this? And then stuff gets missed and messed up and then takes more of your time to fix it.
Yeah, definitely.
How are you being proactive in that in the stage,
So
right now?
I feel like we implemented just team dinners, right? And I feel like the more that you have the workers feeling like it's a family environment, the more that they'll go that extra step for you, right? They'll do that little weed that needs to be trimmed at the end that nobody's gonna see, right? Because they care about the company, they care about the values of the company, because they care about you. It's a family environment. So we definitely implemented team dinners, right? We're able to discuss.
Sorry, did you say weekly?
It's not weekly, it's bi-weekly. Yeah, every Friday whenever we have time, we finish lawn mowing, come the guys, they come to the house, or we go to our restaurant. We'll sit down. Well, you definitely also you have to get feedback from your crew, right? Sometimes you're not on the field yourself and you don't know that's because sometimes me and you can just look at the time. Okay, this is supposed to take 4 hours. Why are they there for 5? Right? So you got to sit down with the supervisor, see what the mistakes, see if you can provide them better equipment, things that you can do on your end. And that definitely made it easier. It feels like a family environment. Everybody's connected and not everybody's fighting each other. They're waking up to work. Because some people, like we've hired a lot of people who just comes in, they're here to clock in hours.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, brother, if you finish the same hour, 5 hours, I'm still going to pay you the same, right? Because it's a 6-hour job. If you finish it in 4, I'll still pay you for 6 hours. Because everybody gets to go home early. So bonuses like that definitely help.
Interesting. And you've implemented that?
Yeah. It's not like really on paper. It's just like, okay, I know how long 1,000 square feet should take, 7 hours. If you guys can get it done, because sometimes it's like we don't need as much soil or something. So there's an element that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So if you guys can get it done in 5, you still get paid for 7. Because you want people to spend time with their family, right? And definitely got all the guys' birthdays written down for their wives so we can send them, gifts or whatever. So things like that are important.
Good. And you mentioned family. Like the guys spend more time with you and your organization than they do at home, right?
So. You got to make sure their wife is happy, my friend. They're sending out to work, trust me.
So metrics you mentioned and hours, clocking hours. I'm curious, like the stage of businesses between, I don't know, like 500,000 and 2 million. It's fairly similar. Key metrics that you're managing, at the size of a business. Like what do you look at day to day? Like hours in our industry is one of the important things. Like what are a few scoreboards for yourself as an owner?
So definitely the hours, of course, and efficiency of getting the job done and the feedback from the customers, because you would have the customer on a contract, let's say for 2 years or whatever, and you want to make sure they're happy at all times. So we make sure to give them that call, see if we can do anything to improve.
So do you sit down days and just call your list?
Yeah. Just call the guy, because we start going away from the residential areas. So I'm kind of just getting feedback from the property managers. It's easier than dealing with 200 houses, for example. You kind of just calling 10, 15 people, whatever, how many companies you have, and you're dealing with one property manager.
Yeah.
So you're able to go and sit down with them. Okay, what the guys can do better. They forgot the air blow here. Next time, Josh, this was everybody, this is what we're supposed to do. Make sure we treat them like family, so make sure everybody gets treated back well. So
Anything else?
Metrics, just how many hours it takes, and I believe that's about it. It's nothing, because it's different for each. If you're doing hardscaping, if you're doing sodding, if you're doing lawn care, it's all like different metrics.
Yeah.
Right? Like the hours for sodding or the hours for lawn care could be a little bit different. We've implemented just new program for a speedy route where I'd be able to put all the locations together to give you the fastest route from wherever you are. And we're working on a lawn mowing app for the company that makes
You guys are making one?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That's hopefully going to kick in for next year. It's going to be for snow removal and for lawn care. And it will give you a notification. The guys are coming your way. But we're definitely going to get back into residential but when we have the app, so it's make it easier for the customers and for the workers. They're able to go, boom, you put in your address. It's supposed to give you a rough quote based on your square footage, because you can basically get that off Google Maps I don't know if you've used it and you try to take the square footage of any property, and you'll get a price right then and there. You can request a call. The guys will come, cut everything up, and then you're able to sign up for a monthly plan after, or the Browns, Platinum, or Gold, and then you can go from there. And then it's good because they can give them a notification when the guys are on their way heading towards them, and that's especially good for snow time, because some driveways you want people to remove their cars, they want everything clean, pristine, so it gives people a heads up. That's the next step. You'll see me marketing like, is your wife bothering you while you're watching your Sunday football game, and she wants you to cut the grass? Some type of ads like that, but we'll see.
I love the marketing creativity.
It's already running in that.
So what software are you using now? Like
right now we're doing QuickBooks, and that's
it.
That's it. And then Optimal Route in wintertime we use this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you use it as well, but
we use LMN and like just I don't know, it's another CRM, but quoting and invoicing and routing.
Yeah. That for quoting and invoicing we use QuickBook. For the wintertime where we are sending people out to do snow plowing, we're using Optimal Route.
Cool.
Yeah.
So for marketing, you mentioned like that's funny. Shit's already going through your head.
That's the first thing you got to think of, right?
Like marketing for everything. It seems like you've got quite, I don't know, like a vending machine figured out of whether it's Facebook or Google Ads or whatever you guys do. I'm curious. I'd love you to spill the tea, but like a vending machine, I say you put in $100, you get in 1,000 out, and you just keep going. What have you learned and figured out over the years?
So that's a lot of YouTube binge watching when I was starting on the marketing side of things. But it's definitely a lot of trials and errors, because we'd run ads. Like you run ads as well, and you can tell which one is your best converging ads, and you can take like, okay, what I've done here, like, okay, maybe I've done a before and after picture. Have I provided a discount? Is the deal good enough for them to
So you finally figured out if you hold a business card, it performs better?
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to figure out which one is your best performing ad, and what are you targeting. Like there's a lot of factors that you play in. Like this is our second year running retargeting audience, which is really important, because any company does that, right? If let's say you look the app, let's say Manscaped, right? And you see it once, they know that you stayed on that picture or that video for 5 seconds or more, and they can take that as analytics. Okay, he watched it for more than 5 seconds, then you keep him as a retargeting audience.
Send him again.
Exactly, send him again. And it's really about marketing, and then you can get a lot of lost leads and bring down your conversion rate a lot lower when you know like how to retarget, which ages to target. Because realistically in our industry, you're not targeting 18 to 25, right? These people don't have houses, like majority of them. No. They don't have their own house, and even if they do, they're not worried about, okay, how am I gonna look my outdoor space? Yeah, exactly. So you're targeting like, let's say 27, that's even being generous, probably like 30 to 55.
Yeah.
That is your audience. And like, do you target male, do you target females? Like in countertops, we know the women's run the kitchen, right? So you target only females.
Well, they run the landscape side too.
Exactly. Like the husband's not going to say no until the wifey says yes. You know what I mean? So in countertop, it's a little bit different, because it's kitchen. It's a little bit more indoor, and kind of the wife has a little bit more say. So we tried both, and we tested, and we found like, okay, women converge a lot better. And then for landscaping, we kind of do both now. It's not really a big of a difference if you target male only or female only. We kind of just have it both gender. So it's a lot more things than that, right? Yeah. You can target specific cities, the radius, but your funnel, like how you're taking them in. Like,
well, I'm sure the bigger picture is making sure you measure it so you have something to improve on, opposed to just blowing all this money on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, maybe this will work, or what's...
You can't just...
I don't give a shit. But,
just let it go.
Good. So landscaping, or just in general, I'd like this answer to be focused on like commercial residential. How do you set yourself apart in a commercial game when it's basically bidding wars?
So honestly, for commercials, starting out, it's very difficult to get any. Like if you're just moving from residential strictly to commercial, it's gonna be hard to get your first.
Which you guys did, by the way.
Yeah,
right.
It's hard to get your first 2 to 3 clients, because even if you do make that switch, you get into the insurance and the actual WSI and the things that you really need to operate, right? It's very expensive. And sometimes if you're moving from residential to commercial, it can really get out of budget. And the second thing is like having the commercial properties or the commercial managers be able to having you as trustworthy, because you're doing snow removal, you're doing, let's say a company's doing $50 million a year in revenue and you're responsible for snow plowing, right? They need to make sure everything is done. They can't just hire, okay, I just met this guy, I just saw him, it's the cheapest price, let me hire him up, right? Because they have a business to run. You got to make sure everything is set up for them to be successful, because that's our job. We got to make sure everything's clear before 7 a.m., everything's done. So we've gotten a lot of referrals back from, okay, one commercial and he knows somebody like that. And we've gotten definitely through cold emails, but it's definitely harder to get commercial properties for sure, because most of them are already signed and they're not leaving the existing contract that they have till they mess up. Right. So you kind of have to sneak into that opportunity. When the other contractor messes up or makes a mistake, I mean, that might sound bad, but it's the reality of it. He messes up, you come and take his place and make sure you offer a better service.
Yeah.
Right?
Run him over, right?
It's the game, man.
So I'm sure once you got in though, like into a few property managers, then the snowball just starts rolling, right?
Yes, exactly. Because we need to maintain clients. We can't be out here looking for different clients every single year. We need to maintain what we have before we can go out. So once we make sure the ones that we currently have are fully satisfied, because we call them, as I said, we call them to make sure they're good. Everybody's satisfied, then we can move on, or we can move on to take the next one. Right? You don't want to lose the clients that you currently have to look for more clients. Right? Maintain what you have and be able to build upon it. And that way, everybody be satisfied at the end. It's one tip I definitely give out.
So the quality standard, managing that among your crews. If you've got a lawn crew and the beginning of the week they're doing commercial and then the back half they're doing residential or more high quality work, how do you suggest the guys, I guess just starting out or just advice for them to manage that quality standard? You're doing an industrial lot. They don't give a shit. They need it cut. They want it done. They want it, decent, but it doesn't have to be perfect compared to residential stuff. Like how do you go about systemizing that and managing it?
I'd say since we don't do any residential anymore, for the commercial, what I'd recommend is trim between that crack of the concrete. Go do a little bit more work than what you're paid for. Right? You might say in your contract you're not responsible for cutting the trees, but you see a tree that's out of control, cut it up. Make sure it looks good, right? Because they're getting it done because they want customers' attention. The property looks nice. People are able to walk in. So picking up those cigarettes butts off the floor. Like we make sure everything's air blown, make sure all the weeds, the small grass that's popping out from the concrete, everything is trimmed. So just go in that little extra detail that people are not willing to. And I promise you, I've seen some companies that have been around for 30, 40 years. And the thing is, the more you get bigger, the harder it gets managed. That's why I keep talking about foundation, because if you don't have it right from the start, it's going to get messed up at the top. So when you have a company for 30, 40 years, it's hard to make sure everything gets done properly because it's a big crew and it's a lot of people to manage. So the difference is do what they don't want to do. The cigarette butts on the floor that nobody wants to pick up, broom it up, let's pick it up, guys. The little weeds in the concrete, let's trim it up. If we see a tree that's, even though we're not responsible for, let's cut it. How long is that going to take me? 20 minutes extra? I'll take it anytime. I don't have to do it every single week because it's a tree. Maybe in the next month I have to do it again.
Right.
But it's like going that beyond. Yeah, going that extra mile because they'll feel it.
Right.
They'll walk in like, oh, something's different here, right? So that's definitely the most important. You gotta any way to make yourself separated from the competition. Whether you're wrapping up your truck, you got all your guys are dressed up in uniform, everybody's nice to the people, even just the customers are around the area, right? So we tend to for commercials when they're not working, we want to come when the cars are not there, but it's not also optimal all the time. But if there is, be careful to not hit that car. We don't want to trim and have everything get blown up on the cars, right? So it's definitely a slow process, but going that extra mile always comes back and helps you out.
All the small shit, right?
Yeah. That's what people don't see, man. The small shit. But then you look at the bigger picture, then it all connects. It's like a puzzle.
So coming back, revisiting your foundation is what it sounds like your next steps and these next few months will be for you. Curious, your priorities, where your limited time is going to be focused. We only get 24 hours in the day to build that foundation so you can then move on and more crews, more businesses. What's the slowing down to speed up is where you're at now, but what is that focus going to look like?
So right now we're at a stage I've got a good solid crew with me and we're ready to move into that next step. So right now it's just getting sales guys in to do estimates. So I don't have to go do all the estimates because currently I do all the estimates. And also getting an assistant to manage the crews altogether. So we're booked till almost beginning of July, and then we have some random jobs booked up in August for interlock. So it's just about right now is focused on having an assistant, and hopefully that's in the work. We already put a couple ads up for the job opening. Have an assistant, pick up the phone calls, make sure she's able to get the crew ready where they need to go, and that's able to manage the stuff, and she's able to send the invoices and write the blogs on the website that needs to be written in the post, because I don't know if you've seen the page has been posting quite often. It's just because we're getting everything together. And then also doing the sales guys as well, so people are able to do the estimates, and we're working on a commission method. We're still trying to figure it out. So that's the next two steps, and then once these two aspects of the business are correct, by next year we should be up to 3-4 crews.
And then you'll be soaring.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So, and like what I like to look at of like getting something to run itself is obviously the goal, and whether it's, I keep saying this, but landscaping or not, we're talking about landscaping because that's the field we're in, but it can relate to anyone of having your leads, you're making sure money's coming in, liquidity. What are the two other L's? Labor and leadership, right? Like if you're a shitty leader, then
nobody's gonna listen to you. Nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Do your company dinners. So we talk contractors and being broad in general. How does health and wellness keep you going, keep you dialed in? Because you already got too many things going on. Most contractors are like, I don't care, whatever. Who gives a shit? You know, it's I guess the general persona that's put on contractors. Why do you prioritize that in your day to day?
Because like for me, I hit the gym before I go to work, so I would go up 5-6 o'clock before we even get the job started. Because it's a health, your head is clear, you're able to focus better, right? And I don't want to be unhealthy and dealing with all the works, and then my body, myself, I'm not taking care of. That doesn't reflect well off others, right? I want to be able to make sure my body's fit, my body's in a good shape, my head is clear all the time. I'm able to make the best decisions, right? And just for health-wise, of course, you don't want to, even just in any business, you can't just put 24 hours of your time there. You gotta be able to split it and make sure there's time for the family, make sure there's time for the business, and also time for yourself. So we can get caught up, like even I do some days, even now, we can pull out 13, 14-hour shifts just to get things done. But it's about prioritizing, because you remember at the end of the day, life is not just about money and work and things like that. There's definitely other aspects that you need to take care of as a human being, Like I definitely prioritize family over work. And that's very important to me. I'm a family-oriented man. I want to spend time with my mother, be able to take her out, see my dad, just enjoying the fruit of labor. Because why am I working 13 hours if I'm just going to work 13 hours for the rest of my life? No. But some days you have to do it because there's no other option. But it's definitely finding that balance. I'm pretty sure you probably went off track a little bit, maybe sometimes not doing enough work, or sometimes just overly abusing yourself doing tremendous amount of work. And it's just finding the balance for yourself. Stay healthy, stay in shape. I'm not saying you got to be ripped, six-pack. It's just like making sure I'm not at the job site and I'm eating fast food all the time, right? Do a McDonald's run, that's going to kill you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
no dawns for your crews, right?
For the crews they get, they're burning the calories off, right? But yeah, it's just finding where is your family time and just managing your time altogether.
Good. So clarity. Why is that so important to you? Like, because how I see it, a lot of things like you can buy, right? And you can get it, but clarity is something that can be taken away just like that. You wake up the wrong side of the bed, you wake up late, you scroll on your phone, you don't show up to the gym, you're fucked up the rest of the day, and then you don't get anything done. Yeah. Like, why is that such a priority of yours? Why don't you just do it unclear,
Because you got to be able to think straight. Like, if I'm going in there and I'm thinking, I swear to you, at the end of the day, if I didn't hit the gym, it feels like a crime. You know what I mean? It feels like I didn't do anything the entire day. And it's probably just a habit that I've developed because I've been doing it since high school and I played sports, whatever. But it's just the peace of mind knowing that I'm taking care of myself. And it's also about taking care of yourself and managing the business. And if you can just find the balance between those together, then you're in good shape. It's just like, I don't want to be fat, unhealthy, unwell. I can't make the right decision. I can't think clearly. I'm rushing things. I'm becoming lazy, right? So once you get your personal fitness in place, I feel like that reflects on everything else in life, right? Like for me, if I don't hit the gym, I can be mentally unwell and go into that spiral of like, oh, did I do enough? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do?
Well, and that pain hurts way more than when the alarm goes off at 4:30 and you're like,
exactly.
ah, shit.
Yeah, so you gotta remember what you're doing it for, right? This is, of course, like, we're not gonna spend our rest of our life working that 13, 14 hours days, but it's like you gotta, do the hard work for that 5-6 years period, because we all have that time where you just gotta sit down and grind, and it's 5-6 years of just eating shit basically. So you get to that point where you're able to do whatever the things that you like, whatever you want to call fun, travel or whatever. So for me, I'd sacrifice that time any time of the week, right? Just sacrifice the fun now, and you'll be able to do what you want later.
So you like just said you need to know what you're doing it for. What is that for you? Because myself, I have these goals, whether it's an amount of trucks or amount of guys or a revenue number, and you hit that and you almost plateau. It's such a short-term goal, or it's a goal of, what's the word? Like it's an item. It's a dollar amount. It's not a deeper purpose. I'm curious what that is for you, and I see many others struggling with this as well.
Like for me, as an immigrant, family is a big reason. One of my goals is to retire my father, and because he's been here, man, he's worked for the same company for 17 years straight. So it's a big goal for me, is to make sure the family is well taken care of, because they spent their entire life getting us from that position to where we are now. And the least we can do is repay back. I know money is not even enough, or not even close to what they have done for us. They're raising you as a kid, they're telling you what to do. Even for us coming back from Jordan to even coming to Canada and giving us that opportunity, because Jordan, trust me, if I was in Jordan right now, I'd be a street dog. Serious, right? Because it's just a bad environment all around. So being able to take me out from that environment, sacrificing, I'm pretty sure he could have stayed in Jordan and had fun, but sacrificing his enjoyment to make sure we have a better future. The only thing that you can really give back is showing how much you respect for them, right? And being able to, okay, Dad, your time is done now. Enjoy your vacations, have fun, whatever you need, I got you. And that's like a great feeling for me, It's not just like there's all the uncles and things back home that you're able to help. It's definitely the people. That's a big motivation. It's like you as well, like right now we're making a little bit of money, and once you realize that, it doesn't really bring a sense of happiness at all. It's just kind of a number on a screen. Like, yes, you can buy whatever you want. You can take the car. You can take out food whenever now. It's just, there's always got to be a deeper meaning. And for me, that's family.
I love that. Yeah. What's a standard you hold everyone around you to? Whether it's your guys, your friends, a standard that's...
Honesty, 100%. Even if you messed up, just say the truth, because it'll definitely haunt you later, right? And I hate lazy people, right? I can't be around lazy people. Serious. Like some of my friends in high school that I don't speak to no more, is like they're waking up at 12 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm like, 12 p.m. What are you doing?
It's normal for them.
How you sleep until 12? Like, yeah, bro, I played Call of Duty, ran some FIFA games with the guys. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. They don't see the big picture. They're lost in like societies or their emotions and feelings. Like everybody wants to be happy, right? Everybody wants to like, oh, I just finished a 6-hour shift. Okay, I'm done. Let's sit down and do nothing. But like for us, it's lucky we started before we actually got a real job where we're having 9 to 5, and we don't have to go, okay, after the 9 to 5, then you have to do something else to improve your life. But some people, they just see it, okay, this is the lifestyle that I'm in. And they're not even old. Like they could be 21, 22. I know some people from high school who didn't end up going to university. They're just working a full-time job now. But after their shift is done, it's like, that's it. I've done what I had to do. I'm like, brother, there's much more to life than that. You can't just view it in a small lens. And if you just take a step back and see what life has to offer, if you give it your all, you promise it will be a lot different. So, yeah, I don't get it, man. I truly don't. It doesn't click in my head how some people can just be like that. So I just stay away from them.
Doesn't it scare the shit out of you? Like looking back, wishing you gave it more? Like
crazy, man. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, but everybody got their timing, right? It's like some people need a little bit of time to. I feel like some people
it takes 2 seconds to open your eyes. I don't
some
think
people don't realize where they're at till they hit rock bottom, right? And that's not always good, but sometimes how it is.
Sometimes it's good in it because it needs to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely, man.
So environment, can you speak on how important that is to be surrounded with like mentors you mentioned early on, but not only that, just like your day to day, your standard, your what's normal to you. You mentioned these high school kids of they're lazy, they're video games, this and that, no drive, no purpose. Like why is that so important, and how has that affected you surrounding yourself with the right people clearly to get you, here?
Like for me right now, all I hang around is like entrepreneurship mindset. It doesn't have to be in business all the time. Like I have some people who are one of my friend names Yusuf, and he does computer science. But after work, he comes back. He's built his own website. He's tried to build a company. Right. He sold his first website the other week for like 5-10 grand USD, and that was a big celebration for us. It was his first like thing that he's ever done. So it's all about a mindset. It's not like, oh, you need to be a business owner in order to like do this and that, right? It's like if your mindset is correct, it's gonna reflect. So let's say I have 10 friends who are just chilling, playing football all the time, or playing FIFA and we're running tournaments all the time. That's all I'm gonna do because that's who I'm surrounded with. But if you have somebody to check you, say, what are you doing today? Nothing right now. You want to hit the gym? Okay, let's go, right? They're pushing you to go that extra step. Like definitely you, for example, I look at you and I find you as a motivation, an example. We're definitely like, you're a little bit younger than me, but we're in the same field, same industry, and you're killing it, right? And I take that as a motivation. It's a healthy competition, right? So we like, it changes. It's not like you want more, but it keeps you on track of what you're doing. It's not about, okay, Charlie's doing all this. I don't have to do the same thing, but it's about he's grinding, he's working his ass off. I can't just afford to have it, to just chill and do nothing, right? Everybody's coming for your place. And as we say, this is construction. This is not a little boy's game. Right now, we're probably not, I want to say the youngest, but you're dealing with...
We're the peanuts.
Yeah, but you're dealing with like very like older people. And older people, if you're fishy and you're not really about that life, they smell it very quickly. They can see it in your eyes. Right, and if you're not about the hard work, if you're not, they can see it and they can smell it. Right, so you got to be confident in yourself. You got to have a character. You got to be able to tell stories. It's a lot of different components. And in construction, you cannot slide away with these things.
Yeah, and we're trying to, personally, me, I like taking over and be the best. And I know you're of the same mindset as well. And being a lot younger than all these many others in the industry, like the amount of more work it'll take to catch up and take over from them. They have 40 years. They know everything already.
And getting the respect from them is hard. Like, oh, who's this young kid with 2 trucks, 3 trucks?
Watch me, sir.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're coming, I promise you, right? I would say this is a long-term play. I'm definitely not looking 2-3 years ahead. This is a 10-year play. I want to take as much of that construction market cap as possible. And we're coming for number 1. We're not going to settle for nothing less. And as long as you have that mentality, you'll be good.
I love that. Not the same token, we have all these mentors. We have all these guys that they didn't have. The knowledge is all out there. Yeah. You have no excuse to be shit.
Exactly. Trust me, bro. Everything is online. Even at school, bro, I'd be going to a lecture and I can't even understand what the hell the professor is saying. Full accents, fucked up. Right? And then I'm like, okay, I basically got, if I were to account how I studied for school, it was through YouTube. I would just pull out a YouTube video, angular velocity, pull it up, and I'll take the notes from the video itself. And it's like, I didn't even go to the lecture. So you can get a degree basically from YouTube, right?
Yeah.
It's all out there. Everything is on the internet, man. You got to know what you're looking for and be smart. And bro, I know some people who just watch videos, motivation videos, and they do nothing about it. It's like they watch it and they watch the next one, and it's just like, what are you doing? Are you ever going to take the first step? Yeah. The first step is always the hardest. It's going to an uncomfortable place. It's like you're trying to do something that you've never been there before. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of persistence, right? Because you're never going to go step in and be good at it right away. It's about making the mistakes and being able to take the hit on your face and stand up again and then do it all over again. So it's just like...
Enjoy eating shit.
Exactly. Enjoy eating shit, exactly.
I love it. Listen, before we wrap this up, what do you want to leave us with? Number 1. Number 2, where can people find you guys? So
one thing I can leave you guys with... Are we going like... How are we going about this? Motivational?
Yeah, motivational or like... yeah.
Honestly, for people who are working hard and not seeing results, I definitely say keep going at it. All that time that you're spending, it's just you might hit a plateau or you're stuck at some place that you don't want to be. is the only solution is more work, right? Find people that you can surround yourself with, and they can push you to your limits. That's very important. And I feel like that's basically it. Hard work and dedication will get you any place you want to go.
Keep cranking.
Keep cranking. Keep that engine going, brother.
I love it. And online, where can people check you
So
out?
you guys can find us. We just recently started a YouTube channel, so you can find me at Seaf Al-Shannak on YouTube, and that's SeafAlshannak. And I'm definitely giving out some tips for people who are just starting their landscaping from the beginning. So just giving advice of how I first started, going to the first 10 clients or going from 10 clients to 20 clients, the things that you're going to run through and what you need to do different. Because sometimes doing the signs, the posters, the door tags is not sometimes going to do it. How you take it to the next step is all that matters. So you can check me out, and I hope if I can help one person or two people, that all that matters.
It's awesome. Listen,
Charlie.
brother, thank you for coming on. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Shout out to
Eh?
Charlie, man.
Good chat. Yeah, you're the man. Awesome. Good.